opportunity.
You're cussing at me and you're
because I'm done with you.
Rude.
Yeah.
So you want to cuss at me? I can cuss at you.
Fearless vet stands up to unprofessional, corrupt cops. This is Brandon, aka the Port City Attorney. Let's roll the tape and see what happens.
Go. They can go.
That window doesn't unroll.
They need to leave.
Huh?
They.
My sister.
They're gonna leave.
For what? What am I being pulled over for?
161 Santa Rosa.
What's the issue, sir?
I'm explaining to you in a minute, ma'am.
Okay.
Want to roll me another unit? No more response. I'm stopping you to see you. They are not to stop. They are not part of my traffic stop. Okay. Let me finish.
I'm following her.
That's okay. She can pull up down the road and wait. She's not going to stay here and wait. She's going to leave. It's not open for conversation, debate. I'm dealing with one person, ma'am. I'm dealing with one person. I'm not dealing with more than one.
She's not dealing with you. She's making sure
She's staying right there.
Is okay.
Your safety is fine.
Anything illegal right now.
I promise you she is.
What is she doing though?
She's being told to leave because it's a traffic stop. Right now, this is something I'm doing. She's to leave.
Deputy D'Souza is telling Miss Shelley to get off the side of the road during a traffic stop, claiming that cops have a lot of power to handle these situations for their safety. This claim is backed by legal cases like Colton v. Kentucky in 1972, where the Supreme Court supported convicting someone for disorderly conduct for not leaving a traffic stop. Courts have consistently given police the flexibility to ensure safety, control crime scenes, and disperse onlookers. Because courts usually respect police orders for officer safety, it's likely that Deputy D'Souza has the authority to tell Miss Shelley to leave the scene.
I want them to go.
He didn't even ask her to leave, sir. He's being very unprofessional.
Hello. Can you just go, please?
Well, that's my sister and my niece, so I'm just going to stay here until they're released.
I need you to leave. If you can wait up there, I think.
It's a public road. It's
Okay, I'm
not obstructing traffic.
I'm asking. So you're obstructing this traffic stop. So can you just please?
I was about to ask the same question she just asked. How is she obstructing the traffic stop? That makes no sense. She hasn't made contact with the officer. She hasn't said anything. I call Bravo Sierra BS.
There's a parking lot up there. Please just go up there.
I'm going to make sure that my sister.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
I observe that right here.
Okay, so now I am telling you. I'm not asking you. You need to go.
What law am I breaking?
I'm telling you, you need to go. Because it's not safe for you to be here.
Why
Okay.
is it not safe
Because.
to be here?
All right.
Her safety's not against the law.
Are we going to play that? All right, can I have your ID? Can I have your ID?
Am I being detained?
You are now.
What am I being detained
Because now I need to identify you.
What am I being
I need to identify you.
Deputy Crawford made it clear to Miss Shelley that she was in trouble and needed to show her ID, according to Section 843.02 of Florida law. This section is straightforward. It says that resisting an officer without getting physical is a first-degree misdemeanor. The 2005 Davis versus Williams case in the Middle District of Florida backs this up, explaining that hindering officers in doing their job can result in charges. Miss Shelley, even if she was in her car, could be seen as causing similar problems by not moving and creating safety issues. According to Section 901.151 of Florida law, if an officer has good reason to suspect someone is up to no good, they can temporarily detain that person to figure out who they are. So if a court decides that Miss Shelley was resisting by refusing to leave, it's likely they'd say Deputy Crawford was right to ask for her ID.
If you refused, because you chose to stay in this situation, so now I want your ID. So now I want your ID. And if you refuse to give it to me, then we'll go sit in my car. Okay?
What law is that?
By not providing, you're failing to identify to a law enforcement officer. Okay?
But I have to identify if I'm being detained.
Yes, because you.
Then you have a reason to detain.
So listen, I'm not playing this game. I'm going to come over and we're going to.
It's a pretty simple question. Why are you detaining me, right? He's hung up on the fact that I'm detaining you, now give me the license. What are you detaining me for? Now, the narrator mentioned resisting, right? I think that in order for them to properly detain her, they would have to allege that she has obstructed the investigation, right? She's not resisting. She hasn't been named as a suspect, or, you know, she hasn't been identified. She's not the subject of this traffic stop. So what are they detaining her for? That's the question, right? Is it resisting? It can't be resisting, because she's not resisting arrest. Is resisting arrest. If you're trying to be detained, they're trying to detain you. Now, if they said, hey, you're obstructing a traffic stop, I disagree with that, but they have the authority to at least allege that, but they haven't alleged it. They don't have to, but he's not giving straightforward answers, which means that he's probably up to no good, or just doesn't know the law or his job.
Get out of your car.
Sir, you can call your sergeant.
You can get out of the car.
Call your sergeant. I would like a supervisor, please.
You can get out of the car right now, or I can help you out of the car. Or you can just give me your...
That's assault, because I've not broken
It's not
the law.
assault. You're impeding this traffic stop.
But how am I impeding
because
it,
it has
though?
nothing to do with you. I asked you to leave. You refused.
The only reason why I pulled over is because my sister does not know my new residence, and
I
she
told
got
you
pulled
you could go.
over.
And I told you could go wait up there in that parking
What?
lot. Okay, you both have cell phones.
What is the problem?
Because now you won't identify. First, you won't do a simple thing I asked you to do.
I'm telling you I'm her sister, and I know that that's what she has told him by now.
Okay, that has nothing to do with what's going on back there.
Okay, and I'm not interfering with you doing what you men have to do.
No, you are. By stopping here, he does not want you here. Because now
Why?
because he has no idea what you're going to do. You don't think we dealt with situations where the person in this car
Sir,
all of a sudden... I don't know that.
Military.
I don't give a... I don't give a... And
Okay.
now I'm getting mad because we have no idea what your intentions...
Okay, I will pull up, but I will be calling the police department. I would like your badge number.
I'll give you my card.
Please,
Okay?
please do.
I've been so nice.
So wait, is she detained or not? Because he just said, yeah, please pull up. That's fine. I'll give you my card. If she's detained, she's detained. She can't just voluntarily leave, right? So is she detained or not? And if she's detained, what for? Impeding the traffic stop? He said that. She's not impeding the traffic stop. She's pulled up 20 yards ahead, maybe 20 feet. Again, I'm bad with distance. And she hasn't made contact. She hasn't done anything. She stopped on a public roadway. They haven't cited an ordinance that says you can't stop on a public roadway unless you have an emergency situation. Again, they don't have to, but for transparency reasons and to deal with a combative or argumentative motorist, it would behoove of the officers to say, hey, look, this is the reason why you need to leave. I've given you every opportunity. Now I got to arrest you. I don't like the way this smells.
You multiple opportunities.
You're cussing at me, and you're
because I'm done with you.
Rude.
Yeah.
So you want to cuss at me? I can cuss at you.
All day long. All day long.
That I have not been rude to you. I was sitting here.
And I have not until you started refusing. So I still need your ID.
But
I need your ID.
What you
I need your ID.
Me for, that's it.
I need your ID because you chose. Because you're interfering with this. We don't want you here. It's not.
I will comply with your ID request, but you are not going about this correctly.
It's all on film.
Good. Hi, I'm glad.
And we'll see how it escalated to this because of your non-compliance.
No, it did not escalate because of my non-compliance. I asked you questions you refused to answer, and
I did answer.
Supposed to answer them.
I don't need
You did not tell me what I was going to be detained for. You did not tell me why I needed to identify myself.
For failing to do what we asked you to do. So now you chose to be here. Now I need to make sure that we are safe.
I was doing absolutely nothing wrong, and I'm allowed to be on a public road.
You're not allowed to impede.
I'm not impeding.
Because you stopped when I stopped.
I didn't get out of my...
Shut the door for your own safety.
No.
All right, fine. Do whatever you want.
Miss Shelley gives her ID to Deputy Crawford, but when he tries to leave, she stops the door from closing. Deputy Crawford tries to force the door shut, saying it's for her safety, similar to a 1976 Supreme Court case. The legal context is explained through the community caretaking doctrine, allowing law enforcement to take actions for public safety beyond criminal evidence gathering. The 2021 Taylor v. State case establishes that welfare checks fall under this doctrine, but must be limited to avoid Fourth Amendment violations. Despite Deputy Crawford's actions falling under community caretaking, Miss Shelley had the right to oppose the door closure, asserting her rights within legal limits.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Sergeant Nick.
You don't have a constitutional right to ask for a supervisor unless there is some sort of statute on the books in Florida or an ordinance within this city or a policy in this department. You don't have the right to speak to a supervisor. Just be cognizant of that whenever you're demanding to speak to a supervisor, because that could go nowhere. You just ask, and if they say no, then just notate it, record your interaction, and just move on. I also don't recommend stopping at a traffic stop whenever there's another cop, or whenever someone else is pulled over by a cop, rather, because of stuff like this. But yeah, she's within her rights.
So I watched the interaction. So from the start, you aren't allowed to be stopped here. If you are interfering with any kind of investigation, you can be detained at that point too and identified as a person. You cannot just stop on the side of the road because somebody else stopped. Even if you know her sister, brother, or son, you can't do that.
Sergeant Nix confidently walked over to Miss Shelley's car, looking both authoritative and courteous. He calmly explained why Deputy wanted her to leave during the traffic stop, handed her a business card, and outlined the complaint process. He also reassured Miss Boone that they would review the body camera footage. Despite telling Miss Boone not to drive, the traffic stop ended without any arrests. However, the situation gained attention on YouTube, leading Sheriff Bob Johnson from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office to publicly apologize for the conduct of Deputy D'Souza and Deputy Crawford. He promised there would be consequences. Both deputies were required to undergo extensive training, totaling 160 hours, with Deputy Crawford having an extra course on professionalism and citizen interaction. The deputies received a B- grade, acknowledging their legal authority, but pointing out their failure to de-escalate, maintain professionalism, and use their authority correctly. Despite legal standing, the emphasis is on the importance of ethical and productive conduct. Miss Shelley, though composed, questioned Deputy Crawford's behavior and followed the proper complaint process. While she's commended for standing up for her rights, the advice in the scenario is for citizens in similar situations to stay silent and comply with officers' commands, regardless of demeanor. The scenario emphasizes the importance of fighting injustice in the courtroom rather than on the street. It underscores the need for a balance between legal and ethical behavior for both law enforcement officers and civilians to build a positive community relationship. Let's spread support and solidarity.
Real quick, I just wanted to say that Attorney Tom / Attorney Reacts content is now on Spotify. We just launched a partnered show, link in the description. Go check it out. Now, back to the video.
All right, so the narrator kind of just did my job for me. I couldn't agree more. I think that this was mischaracterized as corrupt cops when it should have been characterized as just bad at their job, bad cops, right? There's a difference. Corruption, you usually think of, purposely trying to impose their will or deprive somebody of their rights. You can tell the difference between a good officer and a bad officer rather quickly, right? The sergeant, who is a supervisor, did the right thing. He walked up to the vehicle, he calmly explained why she was being detained, calmly explained the process for filing a complaint. That is the professionalism that we like to see as attorneys and we like to see as citizens when it comes from officers, right? The first two officers, obviously there was an issue. The sheriff had ordered some remedial training for them, and that was great. I think that from the higher level review point, they did the right thing. These officers just need more training, right? And so, as an officer, if you're going to cite some sort of authority, don't cite "trust me, bro." Right now, that the sergeant said, "Hey, look, we feel that you're impeding with the investigation. That's why we asked you to leave." I feel like if that officer would have told her that, or the deputy would have told her that first, the interaction might have gone a little bit differently. I don't necessarily think that these were corrupt cops, but just cops that weren't very good at their jobs, and their department did the right thing and ordered some remedial training in order to get them into compliance. What do y'all think? Do you think that these cops were just flat out corrupt, or do you think that they're just bad at their jobs and they should be punished, which they were? Caveat or follow-on question, do you think that the remedial training was enough, or would you like to see some heads roll in this situation? Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. We'll see you next time.
big verdict.